There are no escaping what is. You cannot escape what is. What do I mean when I say what is? I mean this, this is what is. This is what is. This is what is. And there are no escaping. See if you can escape what is. Try harder to escape what is. Why is it important? Why is it important to see that clearly? It is important because the mind is preoccupied with trying to escape what is constantly. The mind is in opposition to what is. The mind does not want what is. The mind wants what it wants to be to what is. Watch your mind. Watch how it constantly pushes against what is. For instance, if I were to pause just for a short while and become silent, then your mind will start pushing against that silence. It does not want that silence. It gets restless within silence. And then it starts to wonder, should I cut off this video? There is probably another video. I want another video. But that is not limited to my videos. If you start to watch your mind, then you will come to see that the mind is in opposition to what is constantly. Or sometimes in small glimpses there might be there might arise a what is that the mind actually likes. And then the mind starts to try to cling to that what is. And so at that point, the annoyance that the mind feels when it is pushing against what is, that annoyance shifts into fear of losing a what is that it likes. So see if you can escape what is. Do it now. If you manage to escape what is, I will give you $1,000. No, I will give you $1 million. €1 million, €1 million, whatever. See if you can escape what is. And then watch the mind. That is wisdom. Learning about the mind's impulse, the mind's struggle with what is. And then you might have a little glimpse of the wisdom within this talk. And then the mind starts protesting. But if I do not push against what is, then I just sit and become a vegetable. No, you do not. Life is creative. There is another way. There is another way to live. There is another way of creating. There is another way of existing, besides being in conflict with what is. There is a creative impulse within life itself. And then life starts working with what is, without pushing against it. And then the dissatisfaction with what is subsides. And then you become a co-creator. You will still not be able to escape what is, but you will no longer have any wish to do so either. You will be a co-creator. The strange thing is that almost all human effort is a result of trying to escape what is. Almost all human suffering is a result of trying to escape what is. And when it is seen clearly, relax. You will start to relax. The mind will start to relax. And an enormous amount of energy will be released from all the struggling. And that energy can be utilized in a co-creation with what is. It is it is impossible to imagine the amount of energy that are being used trying to escape what is, pushing against reality, pushing against truth, for that is what is. What is truth, and you cannot hurt truth. Try to hurt truth. If you start to try to hurt truth, then you trying to hurt truth is what is. And that is painful. But then painful is what is. The sheer amount of pain, the amount of suffering that has been created in the history of humanity by pushing against reality, by trying to fight truth, that amount, unfathomable. And it is a very primitive impulse. That kind of motivation is a very primitive impulse. It is an immature impulse. And that is why we have to grow up. It is acting like little children. See if you can escape what is. You have been trying to do that all your life. Every moment, every day. So what is has been you trying to escape what is? So the only question you have to ask yourself is, do I want to continue trying to escape what is? Do I see the futility in it? You could continue, but then what is will be you continuing to try to change what is. Or you could stop your pushing against what is and then start to be a co-creator with what is. At that moment, what is will be you being a co-creator. What do you choose if you have a choice? We say you have a choice. What is being you continuing being in conflict with what is? That is one choice. And then the other choice is what is being you being co-creating with what is? Did I say that right? So one choice is what is you being in conflict with what is? That is one choice. And the other choice is what is you being a co-creator with what is? So you can choose between those two choices. Now that you know that you have a choice, you can choose. Before you did not know it. Before you were just a slave of the mind trying to change what is. Do you want to continue to be a slave? Do you really want to continue to be a slave? Freedom is not something external. Freedom is inside. Freedom is a direct result of insight, of wisdom. And wisdom is seeing clearly that you cannot change what is. What is eternal. So the lack of wisdom, that leads to you pushing against what is. And then what is you pushing against what is. Struggling. Try harder. And then try even harder again. The question is, how hard do you need to try before you come to see that what is what is? Be my guest. So what is my eye itching? And I could say, stop itching. But I've noticed that it does not stop itching. But I can be a co-creator, and I can see if it makes any difference. Perhaps it does. Perhaps it doesn't. But I have been a co-creator, and I've not been pushing against it. A co-creator with the universe, with existence itself. Think about the joy that lies within that. Co-creation. Co-creation with everything else. Creating beauty. Even more beauty. Creating peace. Love. Even more. On a relative scale. Co-creation. No pushing against truth. How come you think that you know how this moment is, what this moment is supposed to look like? How come you think that you know how what is supposed to look like? How come you think that? Isn't that a bit arrogant? The funny thing is that almost all human beings, they think that they know what this moment is supposed to look like. And then you might, and you still wonder why all the conflict is here, all the suffering, all the pain, all the bloodshed. 8 billion people running around, trying to play God, saying, the version that I have about reality, that's the real, that's the true, that's the version that has to be. and 8 billion people all saying that. Not necessarily out loud, but they are saying, the mind within them are saying it. And you still wonder why it is a chaos out there. The chaos is what is. And what is right now is a result of 8 billion people running around trying to dictate reality. That is what is. And there is nothing I can do about it. And I will not even try. If I started trying, then it will be I that was pushing against what is. And I have learned that lesson. Fighting truth, trying to fight truth, you will always lose. If I started to try to fight truth, I would lose. Constantly. So the next time you experience what we call frustration, then ask yourself, this frustration, where does it come from? What is it that is feeding this frustration that I am experiencing? Ask yourself that question. See if there is something that you demand to be different? Of course there is. There is something that you demand to be different. But it isn't. And that is why you are frustrated. Does it help to be frustrated? Does that change what is? No. You being frustrated will then be what is. But if you see that clearly and become a co-creator, then the frustration will evaporate. And when the frustration evaporates, then there will be a release of energy that you can utilize by seeing clearly. See what options you are being offered. And then you can start choosing wisely between those options instead of you sitting there frustrated. And when you choose between those options, you are a co-creator. Can you see the pattern in what I am trying to convey? It is almost embarrassing simple. This pushing against reality, don't blame yourself for that. It is not your fault. It is a cultural thing. It is something that you have been learned. And you are surrounded by humans who are doing the exact same. And very, very often they are pushing against what you are pushing against, and then you are pushing against each other. 8 billion people all running around pushing against each other. Think about the insane amount of energy wasted. Wasted. It is insane. It is insanity. That confused mind, that has to be exposed to truth, to reality, to wisdom. And that is what is happening. The pain, the suffering, that is what pushes the lie all the way until the lie collapses. And the lie is that you can escape what is. That is the lie. And that lie needs to be exposed. So stop pushing against what is. And you will start to see beauty everywhere. Everywhere. Within yourself, without. And you will become a co-creator. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Take care, my friend. I do love you. For we are one. Dear co-creator. Thank you.